I think we're ready.
Good, ask him. All right. (2023) Governor Healy signed into law Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act making appropriations for fiscal year 2023, which includes a 2-year extension of the option for public bodies to hold remote meetings by suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. That action was effective immediately and until the current option for remote meetings, extending the current option for remote meetings through March 31st, 2025. Thank you very much. Please join me in saluting the flag.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. I want to bring and put it on the record that this week is a sad occasion for us that we lost our former district attorney, Bill Delahunt, also for so much of Norfolk County, former United States congressman and a fixture in the city of Quincy. He will be buried this weekend. The county has had the occasion to, on October 2nd of 2022, by act of the legislature, dedicate our Norfolk Superior Court building in honor of William Delahunt. He was a career public employee, served as Quincy City Councilman, Mass House of Representatives, District Attorney, and United States Congressman. He leaves his family in Quincy, and I want to mention that all in this room know that Bill was a very active, forceful person, and again, be nice to remember him this week. Thank you very much. I'll call a roll call. Commissioner Stady.
Yes, sir, here.
Commissioner Collins.
Present.
And Commissioner Shea is present. We have a quorum.
Richard, I just wanted to get this out of the way. Is it okay for them to use your stamp? And look at your signature?
Executive session?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah. No problem.
Number 3, executive session. We are going to have an executive session. Peter, you'll read the.
I make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, subsection A, subsection 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares.
And I have.
Second,
I'm going to take a roll call. On executive session, Commissioner Stady,
yes, sir, yes.
Commissioner Collins,
Yes.
the chair votes yes. We will be returning to complete the remainder of our agenda. Thank you very much. We're in executive session.
John, if you can get the door.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Won't be long, hopefully. Thank you. We're back on the record on our April 3rd, 2024 regular meeting of the Norfolk County Commissioners. Commissioners were on item number 4, minutes of the open session meeting of March 27th for approval. Give us a
No.
motion.
Are these the ones that, weren't there a set of minutes that we were held up last week at the meeting? What were those? Those are, wasn't there a set that Peter said, let's wait and go revisit?
Well,
Not them. This is.
yeah, this is not them.
Okay,
This
okay,
is just from last week.
okay. 27, I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Number 5, I have no appointments. Number 6, public comment. Each week we have a session of our item agenda for public comment. It allows anyone out in Zoom land, as I call it, and or anyone present to have a comment relative to the business of Norfolk County. Anyone want to speak from outside? Director Cronin, have any notifications from anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. Last call for
Chair.
public comment.
Chairman, I'm sorry.
Marguerite Camrega.
Register O'Donnell is on his way. He's at Braintree Weymouth office hours, so. He has,
All right, well,
he would like to speak with
If I don't-
regard
I
to
don't
the
think-
transfers.
I'm sure we can accommodate him. Is there any objection to leaving public comment open until the register gets here?
No objection.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Last call for, no, it isn't last call for public comment. We're leaving it open. Okay,
Old business.
fine. We're gonna move to the next item, number 7, old business. I have none. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
No, there is
I
there's
do-
something there, Mr. Chairman.
I have a letter from the agricultural school relative to the budget. It's in your packet. It's dated March 29th. It's a, I'm sorry, we've got 2 letters from the school. The first one is relative to the bid for the public
Nope,
address
Nope,
system.
that's different.
That's not it.
No, want me to handle this?
Yeah, they give me the second one, which
So we have,
we have another letter.
as pursuant to the commissioners through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Last week, the commissioners had an interest in having a letter prepared from them to the Norfolk County Advisory Board regarding the school's FY 25 budget, which you passed along last week and voted upon. This letter pursuant to the letter that you were just referring to in the packet, which is legal opinion from council on how to handle matters involving disagreements between commissioners, their privileges and authority, and the budget. This letter follows that advice and makes a recommendation to the advisory board on the FY 25 school budget. It's in your packet for consideration. If you approve it this afternoon, we'll see to it that it gets to the advisory board in your packet for next Wednesday.
Okay, so thank you, John. So we're talking about a letter dated April 3rd. That's our letter, okay. And we're referring to a opinion from Attorney Josh Coleman of MLM relative to the budget. Does everyone have a copy of that? It's dated March 8th.
Yes. I think, Mr. Chairman, this was,
Go ahead.
if I may, at the meeting last week, at the end, I think there were 2 motions offered by our colleague Peter Collins. And the first one had to do with the motion to approve the budget, the overall budget. And the second one had to do with to send a message or a motion to the executive board about our dissenting opinion on that vote of the Aggie school. So I think this was what John or someone has drafted, I believe, for our benefit. I think, John, you drafted it based on a legal opinion. This is the letter we're sending to the advisory board regarding that second motion. Am I right, John? Isn't that what this is?
It is, just to correct Commissioner Stady, it would go to the advisory board, not the executive board.
Right, so
Exactly,
Richard,
right.
the motion that I made last week was
Right.
to have the county director draft a letter to the advisory board.
Okay, that's all. Yeah, that's all this is. So this is, we should be reviewing the letter. I think you want us to review it, don't you, John? I'm asking for the chair.
Review and approve if you can, because we'll put it in the packet for the
Right.
advisory board.
Okay, so that's what I thought we were doing. So the letter was drafted in response to a request or a motion made by Commissioner Collins. This is the letter we're gonna send to the advisory board in anticipation of a meeting next week. Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So in terms of the substantive material, when I reviewed it, it seems accurate. You have basically cited the vote, which is accurate. It was 4-3. You've cited the difference in the adjustment of the money. That's fine. You cited also, you relied upon legal opinion, which was the prior week. We got that March 8th, I believe, which is pretty sound. I just was interested in that legal opinion. It does state that we do have to present the budget. In the summary of that legal opinion, it basically says we're obligated to present the budget. So we are doing that. Now, whether or not we can make a dissenting opinion or offer alternatives. I think that gave us some latitude to do that. So I hope my colleagues agree. I think that's what we're carving out, but we are obligated to present the budget to the advisory board. That essence, basically what we're saying here?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. All right. That's where we're heading. Mr. Chairman, I had no
Any
problem with the
comments?
letter. It looks
Any
solid
other
then.
comments about the
Yeah,
letter?
this one here, this letter here.
Relative to the agricultural budget. Go ahead, Richard, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, so in other words, for our point of action in terms of what we're doing today, if I may, respectfully, this is a letter we're drafting, we're sending it out. And it basically, I think it captures what we're trying to say politely and respectfully to the advisory board in terms of the overall budget,
Correct.
Yeah.
Dated April 3rd, our letter to them. Has it gone out yet?
No, sir.
It's pending this discussion?
That's right.
Okay.
Peter, do you have any thoughts on it? I didn't hear from Peter, but I was just curious. I just want to make sure we're doing the
Yeah,
right
that
thing.
was fine. No worries.
Okay,
All right, we're gonna send it out. Correct?
yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, on the supplemental, okay.
No, I'll make a motion that we authorize the director to send the letter as drafted.
I'll second that. I don't know if it's proper. I guess it is because we are talking about the Aggie school. I just want to make sure my colleagues are aware of the fact that this evening at the Aggie meeting, which we have tonight, there could be some further discussion on the budget. I'm not exactly sure what that discussion is going to be since the budget was already approved, but one of the trustees had asked that the matter of the budget be brought up again to talk about some other information. So perhaps this might be on the agenda indirectly, but still, I see we go forward with this letter as commissioners.
Okay, motion made and seconded to forward the letter, a letter relative to the agricultural school budget to the Norfolk County Advisory Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Send that letter. Thank you. Further under old business, on the back page, we have discussion about electric vehicle charging station rebate application.
Beautiful.
That's a mouthful. Director Cronin,
Thank you,
there's
Commissioner.
a copy of it in our
Yes.
packet.
Commissioner, several months ago, you may recall, a vendor working for the state contract approached us with an option to engage in an electric vehicle charging rebate program. He works for the utility companies, but with the state charging program. His name's Brian Laughlin. The last several months, we've been exchanging information about the program, what it can offer us. This application is the process by which the county opens the door to receive an estimate of cost that will then translate to what the application to the state will look like for reimbursement. He will use this application to work up the details. There are options within this particular application. I will call your attention to page 2, about halfway down. The charging station model, we're looking for what's called a DC fast charging option, which is the more premier and preferred charging solution for electric vehicles. So with your permission today, I will sign this application. And that's what I'll need is permission to sign the application, get it over to Brian. He'll prepare a packet, which I'll then present to the commissioners because there may be some cost to the county, incidental as they may be, depending upon what the modeling looks like. So this is the first step. It opens the door for an application. No incurrence of costs will happen until we sign the application to the state. So today I just need your approval to proceed.
Any comment?
Yes, I could, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yes, Richard.
Through you, of course. I'm very excited, very happy to see this moving forward. I know we've all been talking about it, and this is a great step forward for us. I just wanted to be careful. I happened to check the application and looked at the eligibility requirements and miscellaneous. John, I'm sure you did look at those, but are you okay with all of those conditions there? All the things they've said we have to meet and do in the future?
I mostly am, but not completely.
Okay.
This is not a binding application. Again,
Oh, okay,
I did
okay,
exchange some emails with Brian last fall.
okay,
There were some concerns on the contract, and he's backed off of those. So by the
Yeah.
time you see the contract,
Yep.
which will incur expenses, it'll likely be more favorable.
Okay, good. That's, I had a couple of red flags. That's fine. If you caught them, I'm sure you did. That's good. And you're right. This isn't a contract. This just gets it rolling. So that's fine.
Just the application.
Great, great. Whatever motion you need, Mr. Chairman, if you want, unless Commissioner Collins has comments, not to cut him off, but I'd move that we go forward and authorize our director to move forward with the application as
Okay,
presented.
and I want to add to that, I mean, this is just the application stage. We would have a full hearing and it'd be an coming agenda item once it comes back
Yes.
and be open to all.
Right,
So, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. yeah.
So this remains on our agenda waiting for Eversource to get back to us.
So Richard, you made a motion to allow the county director
Yes.
to sign the.
To at least proceed with the application process.
Right, and I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
It
Aye.
is a vote. Thank you.
Yep,
We
great.
have no objection. I'd like to go back to public comment number 6 because the register is here. We held it open. Okay, register down.
Oh, no, I was just here for the supplemental, there's some supplemental requests.
Okay.
I,
Um,
whatever you want, if you want.
Number
Well,
14.
Number
Oh, yeah,
15.
no, 14, I can wait.
Number
I-
14, all right.
I'm just-
Marguerite said that you had a public comment, that's fine.
Well,
Oh,
You know what, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
if it's
Oh, no, I was
more
here for the
relevant.
supplement.
let's talk it all. Let's get to 14 and do it. That way we can get out of the business. If there's no
I was
objection.
just running
All right.
from Weymouth, running late, so.
Okay.
Go right to
office
14.
size. No.
You want to go to 14 now, or do you want to?
I can wait.
I'm going to get there very quickly.
Okay, so 8 personnel matters.
Okay. Personnel matters, number 8.
I can move those if you want, Mr. Chairman. I've got
Yes,
those.
I do.
All right, I'll move quickly, for the Norfolk County Agricultural High School, I'll move contingent employment for Jake P. Colantoni of Dedham as a JV
Oh,
baseball coach at the rate stated and effective date 4/4/24. Dress warm in this weather, but good luck, Jake. So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
All right.
It is a vote. Next.
At President's Golf Course, the following, I'll move notice a job title change for Paul Blaney of Pembroke as seasonal golf course associate at the rate stated effective date 4/4/24. So moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a
Second
vote.
one, all these are at the golf course. Notice a job title change for Christopher Holmes of Dorchester as seasonal golf course associate at the rate stated effective date 3/28/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Third,
Next.
notice a job title change for Kelly L. O'Toole of Quincy as seasonal golf course associate at the rate stated, and the effective date is 3/28/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And
There's a
last one,
next.
Mr. Chairman, notice a job title change for Paula Morgan of Quincy, Mass. As seasonal golf course associate at the rate stated and its effective date 4/4/24. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a
That
vote.
concludes that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Payroll expense warrants for approval.
Peter?
Sure.
It's right there.
Okay, we have the warrant list. I'll make a motion. We move 24-39 payroll of the county in the amount of $146,505.33.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
Second is 24-39 subsection 20 payroll of the school in the amount of $369,393.99. So moved.
Second that motion? Second?
Made, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. Next.
And the last is warrant 040124 expense of the county in the amount of $54,517.69. So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. It is a vote.
Aye.
That concludes payroll and expense warrants. Number 10, report on the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Director Cronin.
I have no updates this week. There are no applications currently before us in the portal. There are several under review. I expect some movement within the next few weeks, but not imminently. There's a lot of focus being placed on the closeout plans right now as the county develops its internal plan. Some of that has already been put in motion. I've had Mr. Galvin reach out to Brookline officials to see if we can get them moving on their large unexpended balance, but other than that, no imminent applications. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Number 11 is a moot question. Not me. Number 12, 130 bid openings. We have 2 rejections here this week. I'm going to ask Nancy, our procurement officer. Good afternoon, Nancy.
Hi, how are you?
First one is the rejected bids received on March 20th, 2024 for for fire alarm prevention maintenance, repair and monitoring. Bids were over budget. What say you on that first one, Nancy? We got some backup here if you.
Yeah,
Lawyer
we're utilizing the state contract for fire alarm preventative maintenance. We did want to try to go out and get bids for our own contract, but they both came in over budget. We're presently paying 83,1072 for a year for preventative maintenance. The two bids came in, one at 16,4, one at 14,4.
And this is our previous vendor, right?
No, these are
No?
different
This
companies.
is a different company, okay.
So I would suggest staying with the state vendor for the meantime,
Okay.
time being.
Commissioners, any comments or wishes?
I'm fine.
So
Move the
we-
approved recommendation.
To reject the bids.
Yeah,
Which causes that we're gonna rebid it, is that? the
It will
next
be
step?
rebid
Will be
in the future,
rebid.
yes.
The motion will be to reject this bid, yes, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna rebid it.
yes, sir. So moved. I'll move that.
Right, so you're moving to reject the bid for the fire alarm preventative maintenance, repair and monitoring, because there's two of them. So I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
And the second one was to reject the low bid for the public address system, which opened on January third,
That's a
twenty
different
twenty-four.
bid
Just
entirely.
review the second low bid.
And we've got backup also in your packet on that one. On the second one, any discussion?
So we're rejecting both, right, Peter?
Yes.
But
Right.
they're two different bids.
Right, so I'll move
No,
that.
this- I want to, they are separate.
Okay, I'll make a, for the record, I'll make a separate motion to reject that one as well. How's that?
All right, I'll second your motion.
Okay,
And I just want to point to a letter from the school with a fair amount of backup. Stating their reasons for why they think it should be rejected. So the motion would be to reject it, and then we would rebid that also.
We're
correct?
for this bid, we're gonna look at the next,
Lowest-
the second low
Okay.
vendor.
Second lowest vendor, yes.
Okay, we're looking to reject this first bid and look to the next vendor. Have
Right.
we looked, you haven't looked at him first. You haven't looked at him before.
Well, we've looked at all three, but we're gonna,
Okay.
Go
okay,
with our
all right.
through.
Okay,
I just, I know they need this public address system, so,
right, so Richard made the motion, I seconded it.
right.
okay, motion made and seconded relative to
Reject the low bid. for
the low
public
bid on the
address
public
system.
address system at the Norfolk County Agricultural School. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, Nancy, I'm in the right, going in the right direction here?
yes.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you. We're all set. We don't have any bid openings today. We have no contract. Oh, yes, we do. Another rebid. Contract award. Financial Literacy Coordinator, number 13. The Financial Literacy Coordinator is a contract position in the treasurer's office that we bid recently.
Yes. and
Nancy.
The
your
treasurer,
comments.
we received 3 bids. The treasurer recommends that the contract go to Courtney DeToli for the financial literacy program coordinator. Her bid was a cost of year one, $25,000, and for the second year option, $25,000 for a total value of $50,000.
Is it, why is rebid next to this? Is that
Because we had put it out,
twice.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought we were doing the same. Okay, we have a recommendation for the financial literacy coordinator. Donnelly.
Courtney DeToli.
Okay. Any comments? This is in the treasurer's office. This is a contract position, not an employee.
Yes,
For time certain, correct?
yes, it's 2 years.
Okay, any comments at all?
Just real quick, Mr. Chairman,
ahead.
through you, of course. Was that
Yes,
recommendation from the treasurer? I couldn't understand.
Yes.
Was that
from
from
the
Nancy?
treasurer.
Who made the recommendation?
Treasurer Bellotti.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I was just checking. I'll move the approval as presented,
Second,
the award.
motion made and seconded to approve the awarding of a contract for a financial literacy coordinator through the treasurer's office as bid. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Think we're set, Nancy.
Great, thank you.
Nice job, Lisa. Thank you.
All right, how's that? Number 14, fiscal year 24, fourth supplemental budget. I'm gonna start with the director and then we'll take any comments on the fiscal 24 budget. I got copies here for you.
Thank you, Mr.
Director
Chair.
Connolly, open this up. And then
I
we'll go
would be
forward.
happy to. Bill, if you'd be so kind as to pull up the spreadsheet that I sent you earlier, which summarizes the proposed fourth supplemental for the county. So as Bill's pulling this up, briefly, commissioners, this is the fourth supplemental for fiscal year 24. We started with a $2.586 million available surplus from FY 23. We began the process earlier in the fiscal year of moving $575,000 into FY 24 capital spending budget. And then further on September 13th, 2023, we spent $337,400, another $86,908 back in December. We also set aside $730,000 for our projected deficiency in FY 24. And also $712,611 to fund our FY 24 budget pursuant to general law. So before we took any action on these proposals this afternoon, our position was we had $144,218 in supplemental funds. Based on the proposal I have in front of you, we will expend the following dollars and be left with $35,495.89. For Walston Golf Course, you can see they had requested $16,000 for temp salaries. We are going to fund half of that request at $8,000. They need $67.30 for contractual supplies for boiler repairs, and they have a temp salary account cleanup of $14.47. Carl did ask, I think it came up from a prior commissioners meeting, for information on a full irrigation system. How much would it cost? What kind of a capital expense would we be looking at? He sent over some estimates that total $2,075,000 for the full course irrigation system, inclusive of material labor, what's called rock claws or pump work options. After speaking with the chair, this item will be placed under top consideration for future capital projects.
Future.
Registry of Deeds had requested $30,000 for temp salaries, $35,000 for legal fees, $20,000 for deeds printing, $9,000 for contractual services, and $4,200 for miscellaneous rentals. I proposed $20,000 for deeds printing, $9,000 for contractual services, and $4,200 for miscellaneous rentals. Under information technology, Sam filed a cybersecurity grant back in March. This $60,778 cybersecurity grant will be of much benefit if we were to be lucky to receive it from the state. If we do receive it from the state, this number will be fully reimbursable. So we have to front the money, expend it, send it back into the state against our purposes described in the grant that you approved, and we'll receive those monies back. So it's basically floating $60,778. So I'm just giving you also a call out that earlier in the year, we had funded a 10% commissioner's capital contingency on capital projects because of surge pricing and supply stream issues. We have approximately $5,052 left in that account. Not a lot, but enough to get us through the end of the year if anything comes up above projected costs. So as you can see, we're spending $108,722.47 for this, the fourth and hopefully final supplemental for FY 24. There are two items that are beyond the supplemental that I'm proposing to be funded from ARPA interest. Commissioners may know that the Dedham Superior Court architect and engineer services will be needed for the HVAC upgrades at Superior, as well as the building management system installation at Dedham District Court. These two quotes come from us from a state vendor who will help the county prepare these technical bids and oversee the mechanical and architectural design and ultimately installation of these products over the next several months. Floating it from ARPA interest is important because my hope is that I will be before you shortly with these two items as ARPA applications. These are eligible under ARPA. We've already funded a couple of ARPA projects associated with this. This is complimentary and it's been pre-screened by our auditor as eligible. So to save money against the interest, again, you'll be floating $128,500 from the interest account, which currently has 2.5 million in it. My hope is once they become ARPA eligible, we'll move those costs over to the grant, saving money on the interest. Finally, there are a host of transfers as the agricultural school tightens its books and aligns its resources for the end of the year. You can read them here, but they're looking to move approximately $75,000 from school lunch revenue to fund food service supplies and contractual services. They're looking to move another $28,000 out of grounds maintenance accounts and tech maintenance equipment to fund a building maintenance contractual service needs. And then finally, they're looking to move approximately $69,832 to fund a PA system upgrade and food service steam table upgrades in their approved capital FY24 budget. And then finally, the RSVP account has had several donations made, and they're looking to move, this is again, accounting cleanup, $2,489 into their RSVP account for closing FY24. As always, I add these observations, and just so the county commissioners are aware, these 4 items. Our new auditing firm, Powers and Sullivan, is now merged with Markham Incorporated. The FY22 auditing is concluding. The FY23 audit will follow immediately, and that could be as early as May. And they'll be looking to complete that audit shortly thereafter. The county is exploring, as we mentioned earlier, an electric vehicle charging station grant through the state. The Dedham/registry location will be the first proposed location. We're also monitoring revenue activity since the beginning of this fiscal year. As a result of declining revenue that now projects a $350,000 shortfall in FY24. The county will continue a hiring and spending freeze that is expected to yield a savings of an additional $335,000 by the end of June. Finally, the county will continue monitoring revenue trends with minimal liquidity from existing and remaining supplemental funds. The county proposes using, as I mentioned earlier, $730,000 from our current year surplus projected against operating account reversions to close the deficit and prepare FY25 with sufficient surplus to cover the statutorily required $730,427 for our FY25 budget. So before you is a request to consider this supplemental transfer proposal in its aggregate, as Phil always does ably. He's prepared a document that would move to approve a total of $412,833.47 for your consideration, and upon vote, the advisory board's consideration next week.
Thank you. Both documents are in your packet, commissioners. Any questions?
Would this be presented, Mr. Chairman, for action at the advisory board next week or in May?
That's correct. In order to get to it next week, we have to present it today and go forward.
Okay, so it would be,
We are meeting next Wednesday night.
yes, sir. So
Yes.
I'm asking, will this be presented for action at the meeting next week at the
Yes,
advisory
yes.
board? Okay,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Actually, I have a minor question. Maybe John can answer. The last time we bought a tractor, it's probably 3 years ago. And there was some discussion afterwards that never went anywhere about why we bought one kind of tractor over another. I don't even, this is probably pre-you, John. I don't need to.
Yes.
You. Now, I noticed we needed a tractor and it's gonna be approved, I believe. Why do we why do we say John Deere? Or is that? From,
I don't know, where does it say that? Was that on the?
it says
description of
John
the
Deere
capital?
tractor, capital.
Yeah, no, we're not
Maybe
tied to,
Nancy, maybe it's a question for Nancy, because do we go to the state, Nancy?
we're not tied to any particular brand. no,
Okay,
of
that's,
course.
I
We
just
have
want to get
multiple
that on the
brands.
record, because it was a bleep after we bought it. I don't even know what we bought.
Yeah, we have a couple different brands. No,
Okay.
we're not tied to John Deere.
The tractor generally comes off the state list, correct?
Yes, it's usually off the state contract list.
Because I noticed they specify John Deere. I don't know if that's a Freudian slip or, and I'm not knocking John Deere either.
No, that's in for, it's a comparison. It's more
Okay.
equal.
All right, okay. Minor question, thank you. Anything else on this list?
Mr. Chairman.
Proposed fourth supplemental budget,
Yep, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Stady.
Yes, sir. It may be out of order, so if I am politely, please let me know, because we went over it very quickly. I was reviewing some of the opera grants, believe it or not, over the weekend, and one of them we did earlier had to do with the Alzheimer Foundation. If you recall, we gave them a generous grant. However, when I read the letter, it said that they only had spent a certain amount of the money so far, and they weren't expecting to pay or use the rest of the funds until 2025. So in light of the fact that we're trying to, we're closing off the opera books, we're trying to get things reconciled through you to our director. How does that work in terms of, our mindset is to kind of get all the grants in order and all the grants money spent. And yet her letter said that a certain amount of it wouldn't be expended till 2025. My thinking was, I don't know if we can take it back, but if it's not spent, would that add to our opera surplus and therefore add to our opera interest? That was my question, where it's on the
You
document.
said the L, I don't know if I'm out of order or not. I don't like to rule anyone out of order, but I don't know what that's got to do with the fourth supplemental request. However,
Because,
I think
because,
we have a way to
right.
handle it at the end of the meeting.
okay, all right. No, because I thought could our interest be higher?
Okay, I think it's a
We'll get that
valid
back.
question, but I don't want to get off the fourth supplemental budget because it's important and,
Okay, that's fine.
A follows B, or B follows A, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera.
No problems, Tim.
Okay, questions about the worksheet and the proposal?
They look straightforward. That's,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to accept the proposed fourth supplemental budget and sign it and send it off to the advisory board as presented.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the proposed fourth fiscal year 24 supplemental plan as presented, inclusive of all supplemental operating transfers and capital plan transfers totaling $412,833.47. So moved.
All right, second,
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
right?
Okay, Commissioner, Register, do you want to speak on the supplemental budget?
I mean, I'll just say, thank you, at least,
Have a
you know,
seat.
I mean, some of the requests we put in, just for the record, the registry hasn't asked for any supplemental monies all year, and I appreciate that in those codes, as that the money was put in, the requests were put in, so I thank everyone for doing that. The other requests, I mean, we can disagree, but, there are some good employees, longtime employees like Rich Kennedy, worked here from 87 to 2021, who's worked there, and Gary Lubin, but, they do a nice job. These are individuals that do a nice job for the registry. So that was the basis of the temporary money request, just so people know. In the original budget for fiscal 24, we asked for 50,000 and we got 15. So that's why we asked. And again, we had discussions last week on the legal for fiscal 25. Just so we're clear on that legal request. First of all, the registry has collected again through deeds excise, chapter 64 D12A. We have another month. Last week we didn't, but the month is closed. We have $1,230,053.06. So we do have deeds excise money collected for deeds purposes. I just want to be, just clarify for the legal. The legal request, and not to belabor it, is I know, and I know last week I asked Commissioner Collins, do people deserve representation? I appreciated his answer, yes. The request was made because we saw last week at the budget that there are different versions, and there are different versions on approach as far as deeds excise, and I recognize that's part of the litigation. But the other part of the litigation, which didn't cost the taxpayers anything from the registry perspective, because we had no attorney, so I had to represent the interest of the taxpayers, the registry stakeholders on my own, no cost, and the decision was made. I'm only asking, I made a request for the 35,000 because, again, it was discussed last week. I don't want to belabor it, don't want to upset anybody. It was appealed. And so I just think it's not legal money it's legal money because there's issues of disagreement. And I just think, you have a Boston firm, I call it a big Boston firm, but it is, and they've gotten paid a lot of money. In fiscal 22, Attorney Lopez got most of that 189,000. And all I'm saying is we have basically zero. And I just think in the interest of fairness, the interests of the registry users and stakeholders should be represented. And you have representation. There's a reason you have representation. So, I just think, whatever the court decides, I said it last week, you have a right to appeal. I have no issues with the commissioners appealing the ruling. The ruling went against them. Maybe we're lucky that it went to the registry. Maybe that the judge was just following the law. But I just think we should have an attorney to deal with the aftermath, because you have an attorney appealing it. You have and there's the other litigation going on. So that's the only reason I made the supplemental request. And I just want people to realize through the registry share of deeds excise, which is over 1.2 million through March 31st, we have monies to pay it. But again, I appreciate on the other requests that were made to fulfill statutes, all the documents have to be microfilmed and the things. I appreciate that money is in there so we can fulfill our duties to run the registry and the fiduciary duties to protect all those records that get recorded. So thank you on that. And I'd appreciate your consideration on the legal fees. I know, I know that the suit was against, the actions of County Director Cronin, what happened. But, maybe you could see fit to take a second look at that. I know it's hard. He was on one part of the lawsuit. I was on the other. The court decided against, the county director and the county commissioners, but just to have some fairness, and then that's it. So that was just my piece. Thank you for the time. If you could consider that would be great. But I do appreciate the other requests, which were 20,000, 9,000, and 4,200. So thank you for that.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Register. I'm sorry. All right,
I'm not even going to touch that.
I know, moving right along. Number 15, report of the county director. Thank you.
I only have one item this week, Commissioner, and it was just, I wanted to let the commissioners know as we conduct a hybrid meeting today. This has come up recently that the current arrangement that the chair reads at every meeting will end March 31st, 2025, or about 1 year from now. There are currently 2 bills in the House that are looking to tackle this problem. They're not tremendously different. Both support the initiative to move this type of meeting forward in perpetuity. But one does create what's called a municipal hybrid meeting trust fund administered by the state to help rural and gateway cities come up to speed and find resources to continue this type of electronic meeting space. So we'll be monitoring both of them. It's House Bill 3025 and House Bill 3040. Both were filed about a year ago. So it's on the docket for legislature's consideration. We'll keep monitoring it because I believe it does impact your future meetings. So that is all I have this week. Thank you.
Any comments for the director, even about that? I've always thought that, and again, I'm willing to hear all the arguments. It's very rare that when the state, which promulgates down to the counties and the cities and towns, come up with something new, that it's taken away at a later date. So I'll be surprised if we're not heretofore to be in live and in as I call it, Zoom. I gotta come up with another better name eventually, and I will. It becomes permanent. That's only my opinion. Any comments at all?
Zoom land will continue. Is that what it is? There we
Yeah,
go.
we'll continue. That's good.
I love that phrase, Zoom land.
I didn't know what else to call it.
I love it.
I didn't deal with it in my former life, and I dealt with a lot of public meetings, let me tell you.
I'm sure you did.
Thank you. moving right along. Number 16, emergency items, topics the chair did not reasonably anticipate would be discussed. Anything else? Director Cronin.
I think to Commissioner Stady's earlier question about a grant that came in. So
That's,
Commissioner,
this is now the time to talk about it. Yeah.
Commissioner,
yeah.
that grant was always envisioned to be a 2-year cycle grant. The documentation that you received indicates their progress through year 1. So they were looking to move those resources into year 2 for the same exact purposes, which is allowable.
Okay,
The
okay,
amount of money really is de minimis, and with respect to any reversions, we expect them to spend it according to the grant award. So I don't see any benefit to recalling it or using it to enrich our interest at this point.
okay. Just checking. I happen to catch it. That's good. That's fine. No problem.
Anything else? Bear in mind, we have a full meeting of the Norfolk County Agricultural School Board this evening.
Yes,
6 p.m. at the school. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn, but please remember our friend Bill Dolan in your thoughts and prayers.
move we adjourn at 2:05, I believe.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.